the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Hello and welcome into the Season 5 finale of the Blitz. All roller coaster rides do have to come to an end, I guess. I'm Evan Closky in the split back formation with my guy David Schiele as we put a bow on this season.
Evan, we were this close to having at least one more episode, but this is it. We're going to talk about why that is, what the future holds, the players hitting free agency, plus our Super Bowl predictions.
So let's get to it. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important stories you need to know as the Bucs enter the offseason. At number 10, the team had an early locker clean-out day after going 8-9 and falling short of the playoffs for the first time since 2019. They were in contention until the final day of the regular season, but when the Falcons beat the Saints, it created a three-way tie atop the NFC South standings, which favored the Carolina Panthers. At one point, the Bucs looked like a shoo-in for the postseason. They went into the bye week 6-2. They won 4 of those games by 3 points or less, including a win in Seattle, the best team in the NFC.
The Bucs' fortunes in one-score games flipped after the bye. Tampa Bay went 2-7 down the stretch, losing to the Saints by 4, the Falcons by 1, and then the Panthers and Dolphins by 3, all in the month of December. Despite beating Carolina in Week 18, they were no longer in control of their playoff destiny, and it cost them. That collapse had a lot of Bucs fans furious and asking for Todd Bowles to be fired. That wish did not come true. At number 9, Bowles will be back as coach next season. It will be his 5th year at the helm and 8th overall with the franchise. Since the start of his tenure, the Bucs are 35-33 and 1-3 in the playoffs. Tampa Bay has now had 2 losing seasons under Bowles, who explained earlier this week why he thinks he deserves another shot.
All I can do is coach and be myself. You know, I've earned the chance. I won 3 straight division titles, so that says a lot as far as I'm concerned. But I don't really have a message for fans other than true fans are true fans, and we're going to try to do our best to go out there and win for them. You know, they're going to feel how they feel, but that's not the coach's problem. The coach's problem is to make the team better. That's all I'm looking forward to.
I understand their frustrations about this past season.
I understand their frustrations, and I understand our own frustrations as well. It's well warranted, and it's well warranted within the building as well.
Seems like the right time to bring in James Yarko for our final Locked on Bucs burning question of the week. James, what are the fans supposed to think about Bowles retaining his job as head coach?
Well, I think they should feel one of 2 things. Either 2026 is going to be the same as 2025, so that feeling of impending doom and disappointment, or they should feel a lot of excitement. To me, retaining Todd Bowles is an all or nothing proposition for this franchise. You cannot have a repeat performance of 2025. So that means the only option is going all in. And that means all in on the offensive coordinator, all in on these position coaches that are now going to be joining the staff, all in on free agency and the draft. You have to really just throw yourself into this season, because if it doesn't work this time, then you're looking at more changes and potentially a full-blown rebuild. So if that's the direction the Glazers want to go in, and they tell Jason Light, hey, go out and get Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, go out and get Nakobe Dean, go out and hire Mike McDaniel as your offensive coordinator, or whoever the top name is, then there should be a lot of excitement around this 2026 team. If they don't do that, if they're bargain hunting, if they're sale shopping on the free agent market again, trying to find a new Shaq Barrett where you get this high-level performance for a cheap price, it's going to be more of the same in 2026.
Thank you so much, James. And David, my biggest question to the Glazer family is how you're going to sell this fan base on Todd Bowles next season. Like, you need to add talent and give him a chance here.
And although I respect the division titles, it comes with an asterisk because it was in the NFC South. Now, I grew up in Atlanta. I have an affinity for this division, but I have to keep it a buck. It is not a race to 10 wins anymore. There has not been a wildcard team from the South since 2020. That was the Bucs, by the way. So winning this division, not all that impressive.
Yeah, and look, Todd Bowles is a good head coach, right? But is he a great head coach? That remains to be seen. Even though Bowles remains at the helm, there was still a major shakeup with the coaching staff. At number 8, the Bucs fired 5 coaches. The first head to roll was offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard, who, for a myriad of reasons, could not replicate the offensive success from 2024. Tampa Bay is now searching for its 5th play caller in 5 seasons. Special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee, he is out and probably 12 12 weeks too late. The Bucs also parted ways with Thad Lewis, Charlie Strong, and Kevin Ross. Two other assistant coaches retired, safeties coach Nick Rapone and senior offensive analyst Tom Moore, who spent the past 62 years coaching football and 46 of them things in the NFL. Moore served on 4 championship staffs, including the 2020 Super Bowl winning team from the Buccaneers. Coach Moore and everyone else on the Bucs staff did not have it easy this season because at number 7, there were numerous injuries on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Baker Mayfield was in shambles, dealing with issues dating back to week 2.
Although Mayfield never missed a start, he clearly was not the same quarterback in the back half of the season, throwing 10 touchdowns and 9 picks in the final 8 games. It also did not help that the projected starting offense never took a single snap together. Tristan Wirfs missed 5 games. Cody Mauch and Ben Bredesen finished the season on IR. Mike Evans missed a chunk of the year and could not hit the 1K mark. Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan were also sidelined for a bit. And then there's Bucky Irving, who was absent from week 5 to week 12. Zero luck on that side of the ball. At number 6, the injury bug took big bites out of the defense as well, starting with rookie David Walker, who tore his ACL in training camp. Hassan Reddick got banged up and missed time. Kalijah Cansey tore his pec in week 2, did not return until week 18. Rookie Benjamin Morrison only suited up for 10 games. Zion McCullum was not the same player and landed on the IR. And Jamel Dean was Jamel Dean, meaning he missed a handful of contests, which surprised nobody. Respectfully.
So that was the past. Let's move into the future. At number 5, some of the names here may have played their final snaps in Tampa Bay. I'd be prepared for Levante David to retire. We have no idea on Mike Evans' future yet. Reddick and Dean likely gone. Other guys not listed here consist of Rachaad White and Logan Hall, who I expect to go as well. We'll get to Mike in a second, but other than him, David, who do you think Jason Licht has to bring back in 2026?
He doesn't have to bring back anybody, to be honest. I would lean towards Cade Otton because I like Cade Otton, does a lot of the dirty work as an extra blocker. We saw what he could do as a pass catcher in Week 18, but his market value is nearly $8 million. I don't know if that's worth it given the deficiencies on defense.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I personally think Cade Otton is criminally underrated by the fan base. This is a guy who has pretty much played north of 900 snaps every season of his career. He's a mid-tier tight end. And considering the offensive weapons this team has, he doesn't have to be Superman here. I'm inking a deal with Otton because I'd want to commit all of my draft resources to the defense, except for maybe a depth offensive lineman. And I'm likely bringing back O'Keefe at a reasonable price. If Sterling Shepard is cool being at the back end of the depth chart, sign me up as well. Otherwise, I'm not married to anyone else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. At number 4, I think it's safe to say that most Bucs fans definitely want Mike Evans back in 2026. Evans said he missed football more than he thought he would when he was out with that broken collarbone. He already knows Tampa Bay is his home as well.
But when it comes to Levante David, this really looks like the end. His walk off the field in Week 18 reminded me of Tom Brady's exit in 2022. Also, Levante's post-game press conference seemed telling.
And, seeing my family in the suite, it was an amazing feeling. It was hard to describe, but definitely I know I was walking through it with a smile on my face, just like, man, just a kid from Miami, Florida. Never thought I'd be here. I was just playing football just to play football, and then just got the opportunity to be able to make it to the league, and I seized it. And, that's what I kind of think about the most.
We will see what happens there. At number 3, these guys are rookies, no more, and they got plenty of work thanks to the injuries mentioned earlier. Emeka Egbuka and Tej Johnson combined for more than 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish earned 8 total starts. Parrish shined in his opportunities, recording 2 interceptions and 7 tackles for loss. Also, 5th-round pick Elijah Roberts looks like a solid depth piece on that defensive line. Had 2 sacks this season.
At number 2, let's look ahead to the 2026 draft. The Bucs hold the 15th overall pick unless they trade back. This will be the highest selection since 2020 when they got a guy by the name of Tristan Wirfs. Jason Light's other top 15 picks are Devin White, Vita Vea, Vernon Hargreaves, Jameis Winston, and Mike Evans. Tampa Bay's most recent draftee at the 15th spot was wide receiver Michael Clayton in 2004. I fired up the mock draft simulator on Pro Football Focus, and these were my selections for the first 3 picks. I went with Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles in round 1. In the second round, I chose Mateo Uiagalelei from Oregon at the edge position. Have to keep swinging there until something sticks. Then in round 3, I'm staying close to home and picking Florida's Jake Slaughter. As we know, Tampa Bay needs that interior offensive line depth, as I mentioned earlier. There will be a ton of mocks before April. At number 1, let's take a peek at who the Bucs will play in 2026. They will take on each team from the NFC North and AFC South, the NFC North and the AFC North, along with their rivals in the South twice. Because of their second place finish in the division, the Bucs get to play the Rams, the Cowboys, and the Chargers. This will also be the first time since 2021 Tampa Bay does not play a first place schedule.
Time for the all-out blitz, starting with our wild card parlay of the week. For my pick, I'm going with Saquon scoring a touchdown against the Niners at any point.
Buffalo's rushing defense is going to have a nightmare with Liam Cohen, so give me Travis Etienne's prop over. Plus, David and I agree Houston and Pittsburgh will play towards the under. Round it all up, that is plus 542.
As for what's cooking on 10 Tampa Bay, we only have one playoff game, and that is Liam Cohen's AFC South champion Jacksonville Jaguars hosting those Buffalo Bills at 1 o'clock.
Checking out our Blitz picks records. I crushed David this season. Crowd goes wild. That does mean I picked a lot against the Buccaneers, but it is what it is. I finished 10-5. David was 3 games below 500 at 6-9. Congratulations to me. David and I are now 2-2 all time in this series. We just keep going back and forth. Look, I will make my Super Bowl pick first. I've got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Buffalo Bills with Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Well, that would be something,
that
right?
Would be.
Let me get the Bills and the Rams. Look, there's no Patrick Mahomes in Josh Allen's way this time. And before the playoffs started, I had the Rams as the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. I really like the makeup of that team, and Matthew Stafford is a baller in big games. Let me get the Rams.
Okay.
I need the dogs to win something, okay?
Well, that's it for us. Hopefully better days are ahead for the Buccaneers. But David and I thank you so much for tuning in with us week after week. We will see you in the fall for Season 6 of The Blitz. Have a good one.